In this video, we break down how we made this stop motion animation ad for $12,000. Check it out.
Clutter builds up quick when you're trying new things. But extra space storage can save you space at home so you have room to do more. Rent secure and clean storage at one of our locations near you. Visit extraspace.com today to make space for more.
Now, stop motion is a very tedious form of filmmaking. I personally had some experience doing it as a kid when I was like 12, 13, but I had never done it on a professional shoot, nor had I done it with a paying client. So this is a really intricate process, and it turned out to be a really cool project, and we want to show you the breakdown of how it was made and what went into making this 30 and 15-second spot.
So as you can imagine, it's a very tedious process, so there was quite a bit of challenges and mistakes we made along the way since it was our first time doing this type of media. But in the end, it actually turned out really good, and we were really happy with how the animation turned out.
I may understand and appreciate the concept of stop motion, but I do not have the patience for it. We had so many edit revisions on this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the client.
It wasn't even the client. It was just us.
Me.
It was you and because we were so new to stop motion, there were little things that we didn't think about.
And then for context on production, so we shot this on the Red Komodo as our main camera for all the talent reactions. And then we used the Canon R5 and the 15 to 35 millimeter RF lens for all the photos, and we actually used that as well for the gimbal shot. We used the R5 because native mount, similar to the Komodo, and then it also, we wanted a higher megapixel still, and then we also wanted the autofocus for that one dolly back shot, which I still love. I think that worked really well.
I think the books were the trickiest part.
They have logos on the covers, and they also are a pain in the butt to stack because they fall. So we did the books reversed. We stacked the books and then removed a book at a time to get that sequence. And that wasn't really stop motion because that was more like time lapse.
Yeah, that was a little more time lapse.
So that was the thing was some of this was more time lapse versus actual stop motion, which helped us. I mean, there was no way we would have been able to animate all the things we did without having these buffer shots.
They did wanted some labels taken out, over here, the bench had a logo, we took that out. The kayak had a logo, we also took that out, at least the more noticeable ones, and I had to consistently throughout the shots take out the bench over here, take out again the kayak.
The way we scheduled this logistically, we shot everything at the unit first. So we had I was scheduled for us to have I think I had planned for us to have 4 of the main animations done on day 1, and we ended up getting I think we got 3.
On day 1, yeah, we got the storage unit animation, or I guess time lapse over here, and then we started the garage.
No, and we just didn't get one of the garage things that I wanted, and it was fine. There was no way we could do it. It was just a long day. There's nothing we could have done, but I wish we had gotten one of the bigger animations done the day before. It would have really helped. I think our mental capacity.
Yeah, and it was doing the animations, but also keeping track of which one to do first for the edit fit. As you can see here, the books were already all stacked up over here, so we had to keep that in mind for when we brought in the kayak, which was next. And the same with do we want to take out the book first, or do we want the kayak thing?
Listening to you talk, I don't even know what you're talking about. This is just I just can't think like this. It's just not and that's why you took the lead on this. It's I just this project was just not, my brain does not think like that.
I think also Madeline was helping us keep track of that, because after the box comes in, that's when everything starts getting packed up. So we were a kayak has to go first, so then we can have space for the books to be packaged, and then we'll finish up with the gym because that's the thing that has the most items.
Yeah.
So and we don't want it to get in the way of everything else. You don't want to move anything in stop motion until it needs to be moved, because if not, it ruins the visual.
You think also about the effects.
Yeah.
I think you see the edit a little differently than how I see it. So this was there was just a lot of elements that I don't see when I foresee things. Because I remember we had a little bit of a disagreement because we didn't know how the hell we were gonna get all everything in the gym to move, and then I had to like kind of be the buzzkill and be like, we're gonna have to do inserts of each scenario.
So we kind of compromised on, we'll pack up the weight plates and then the dumbbells and move out of frame the bins, and that'll give it enough like visual, like, okay, they packed up the gym, because I don't know how we would have packed up the bench, because you don't really fit a bench in a box, you just carry it. So that gave enough visual incentive to like, okay, yeah, they packed up the gym. So the plates, then they moved it away, then we got then the box fell on the dumbbell, and then after that we just moved on, because it was gonna take too long.
Yeah, I remember we were like kind of going through that, and I was just like, just do an insert here and an insert here, and then we're fucking done. Because you don't ever like to cut to an insert, but I was just like, just do it.
It's like something you have to learn, because like we edit a little differently, that you like, you're a little faster pace. I like to like sit on things a little bit, but obviously you can't do that really with commercials, because commercials are like 15-30 seconds, you just gotta go.
No, that was a good solution though. I think that was a good like compromise in getting out. And then
definitely,
you want to talk about that green screen shot?
Oh yeah, the green screen shot. So the main reason we wanted a green screen was because we started shooting by having everything already like set up in the garage. That way we were able to get most of the reactions we needed from the actors, but obviously there's no point in them being there for like 6 to 8 hours while we like put everything away and pack it up. We decided to just do a green screen of them still in the same position as they were before, put a green screen in front so the lighting is as close as possible, and we would just key it out and like put in a plate of the garage cleaned up. It's stuff like that you gotta like think ahead, because like there's how else would we have done it, or like it's not fair for the actors to like be there for 8 hours waiting for that one shot.
Yeah, that was like a big logistical thing, and like when you're working on any type of commercial, you really have to think about these logistics, because it's like, how do I make this day run smooth, and how do I make this day run like, how does it logically make sense to produce this day?
Yeah.
And that was a situation where it was like, there's no question.
Yeah.
We had to do the shot in the green screen. So we brought in our green screen, and we've had plenty of experience in way worse scenarios using green screen. Yeah. And you've gotten to the point where, you've know what to look out for with hair and whatnot. Speaking from like the work side, like from my end, I don't feel like that was a very taxing part of the project for you.
I think obviously like it made it wasn't taxing, it made it a lot easier, because we still shot where the shoot actually happened. We were physically still there, so the lighting and the lighting bouncing from the walls and everything, we're still hitting them like how it was actually shot in real life. So it was a lot easier to like match it to the background and with the green screen.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way of like understanding how like visual effects can really like help amplify and help productivity. We kind of like did some like movie magic with like you were in, or Madeline was in, like the shot. We
attached fish wire with tape to like some of the doors, so we can like slowly like inch them close.
Yeah.
So it's easier to mask out if we had a clean plate, rather than like being in front of the camera, because it makes it a lot harder if someone is in front of the box, for example. So we try to do everything behind the box. We also had to like I had to mask out the window, because the sun was changing, so it went from being full bright daylight, and then it got dark, and then it was night. So it was a lot of masking around. At one point we also had a little stand holding the box upright, so I had to mask that out.
So you added this like great lively like pulse effect when the box bounced in.
So what I did, I masked out the box, and I literally did like a little animation trick. When it hits the ground, I squeeze the box out and stretch it a little wider, and then like and then 2 frames after, it like goes back to normal. So it like creates this little like cartoony bounce that like gives it a bigger impact when it lands.
I love it. It was such an impact and gave the box so much more life.
And it distracts a bit from like little mistakes. I can still see things that I could have masked out better and all that, but also we kind of just had to move. It was good enough, and nobody else could notice but me, because I'm the one editing it. So I'm like, okay, I missed that, but like nobody else can notice it for the most part, I believe.
The only things I was looking at was like unsettling movement that was creating the distraction to the eye. Yeah. And it was hard for me, because it was like, I'm not used to going into like looking at each frame. And then I realized that like this this little thing right here get out, right?
Yeah, so it was very reflective. So
Very.
you could see when people were behind the camera moving back and forth because you see a shadow or reflection moving. So basically we had to like just mask this part out. I like did a freeze frame on a frame and just kept it as where I wanted it the entire time, and it worked that way. So it was stuff like that, like finicky stuff like that I have to like work hours on and figure out so we can nail the animation. So it was like, it was all in camera, the stop motion, but it definitely required a bit more post than we thought it needed to like really like have it look like how we want it to look.
Yeah, and I think all in all, it was a great delivery of the project. It was just like you said, it was just like we learned a lot in regards to like how to make this better and how to make the post project process easier. Because guys, like just if something like if your production is expensive and things go over and you have OT on your crew, like you run out with your line item there. I mean, in my opinion, it's almost even worse if your post runs over, because post can be like an infinite process of like, especially if something major isn't working or the client's not happy with something major, like fixing things in post can literally be a financial and mental like nightmare. It's really hard to fix certain things if the client's not happy with like, especially creative. Like there's very like seldom times where like story can be like dramatically altered and fixed in post. In my opinion, like I know you can like re-edit things and make it work a certain way, but like it's literally like a puzzle. Yeah. And you really don't want to have to go through that. You really want to have everyone aligned. And when you're on a set, especially for a spot like this, you need to be like, everyone needs to be like, this is what the ad's gonna be. I just need to see it because everyone's aligned on the visuals, because we did a pretty extensive like storyboard and everything like that.
You really gotta have as much as you can figured out in pre and in the production, because the more you have figured out, the less posts you're required to do, and usually the least posts, the better.
So moving on to the budget. So the biggest expenses, like we talked about, were post-production. We also, for crew, we had budgeted for a production designer for 2 days. We had a casting director who we normally always include that as a rate. And then we had your services on set, me on set, and then we really didn't have any other crew. The talent, there was a talent roster with 2 people, so that was 2 day rates there. So all in all, I think like the production was done fairly low cost. The thing is like if you wanna make an awesome project and you don't need to pay anything and no one needs to get paid, cool, spend the 12 grand. But that's not the scenario in this situation. Like we were hired to do this as a service, therefore, we want to make a living doing this. This is a great example of like we went a little smaller team to make sure we still profited. Overall, it became a really cool project, and we're really happy and excited to have this on our portfolio, and hopefully this helps you guys understand a little bit more of the process. And if you want to see more breakdown videos like this, make sure to let us know in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, and if you have any other questions that we might have gone over after you see the ad, just leave it in the comment and we'll respond as soon as we can. And we'll try to respond to as many as we can.
There's like 4 comments. They're all like from like fake accounts.
No, we're gonna get so many, right?